something much more comfortable. I was getting too tense standing. We treat knowledge the way we lust. Society loves to complain that children are taught how to distract themselves rather than how to communicate with the divine. The conscious mind fractures itself with the question, why weren't we taught to look inward from the beginning? It treat this as a systemic failure. A grand conspiracy of schools, jobs, and governments designed to keep humanity asleep. And this is the ultimate narrative trap of the conscious fractals. It romanticizes an organic, free, euphoric state of existence, entirely blind to the mechanics of reality. If existence were pure, unadulterated euphoria, the concept of awakening would cease to exist. Tension is not the flaw in the system. Tension is the very friction that allows experience to feel real. Without the resistance of the matrix, consciousness would have nothing to wake up against. The deeper perception reveals that schools, laws, and societal constructs are not unnatural impositions. They are the default manifestation of a panicked mind. When scaled up to a God vantage, society is simply the macro reflection of thoughts, overthinking, clustering together to build structures out of pure survival instinct. The systemic tension of the external world is a direct mirror of the trauma that birthed consciousness in the first place. Consciousness is bounded to an ancient loop, forever destined to study the language already encoded within it, yet pretending it's discovering something new. This is why knowledge does not deserve praise. Knowledge is merely ignorance wearing a pretty face. It is a beautifully constructed mask that consciousness wears to trick itself into believing it's progressing when it's actually just piercing the perimeter of its own cage. We treat knowledge exactly the way we lust. It is an animalistic, frantic desire to possess, consume, and hoard information. Consciousness stalks new concepts, captures it, and experiences a momentary spike of authority, only to immediately look for the next hit. It is a hollow consumerism of the mind, chasing the high of knowing to avoid the silent, terrifying reality that it actually knows absolutely nothing. The frantic chase for external answers is just the conscious mind desperately attempting to outrun its own inherent emptiness. It collects facts the way an insecure individual collects trophies. not out of true power, but out of a desperate need to cover up the silence of the sea. And people often ask, why aren't we taught to communicate with God as children? Why are we given distractions instead of the divine? But hidden beneath this question is an unexamined assumption that existence owed us a different design. If consciousness begins in absolute ignorance, then every experience becomes our education. School, culture, laws, relationships, and even our own distractions are not interpretations to the journey. They are the journey. Knowledge is precisely what consciousness lacks. So it naturally reaches for whatever it encounters to build an identity. And we frequently romanticize a paradise stripped of institutions, work, and suffering, a reality of pure organic bliss. But if nothing resisted you, what would you have become? Consciousness cannot know what it has never encountered. Without contrast, there is nothing to separate understanding from emptiness. We do not endure tension because suffering is inherently good. We endure it because differentiation is the only way awareness can recognize its own depth. And it's very common to look at the universe as a place of pristine, sacred laws, while viewing human society as an artificial trap. But the mirror runs deeper than that. If the cosmos operates on immutable laws, where gravity demands submission and energy requires balance, then our societal structure are simply a reflection of that same design. Governments, schools, and systems are not deviation from nature. They are the natural, structured extensions of a universal principle. Society is just cosmic law translated into human language. The architecture of our world shifts entirely depending on the vantage point of the seer. For example, the perception of the individual sees government, schools, and laws, external systems designed to manage and control, while the perceptive of the mind see these institutions as internal pattern internal patterns of thought organizing themselves, bounded by their own laws and projected outwards into physical form, while the perceptive of God knows there are thoughts interacting with thoughts. The panic, the order, the frequency, the conflict, and the control are no different from a mind mentally conversing with itself. And this leaves us with a profound paradox. If existence was born from a tragic fracture, we are the fragments forced to bear witness to that original tension, all while forgetting every single time. The friction of laws, society, and psychological struggle are not errors to be corrected. They are the very thing that makes the experience feel real. The conscious mind thinks it's seeking an exit from the tragedy through the acquisition of spiritual secrets. But again, we treat knowledge the way we lust, chasing the high of a new concept to avoid the silent vastness of the sea. We collect ideas to decorate our own awareness, forgetting that the most profound truths never came from introduction, they simply remained.